13 months later, are you kidding me? It's exactly what is happening tonight. The 2018 League MVP, future Hall of Famer, debuting for the Sixers tonight in Philly. They're actually in Minnesota for an 8 p.m. tip-off. 2 weeks after his request to be traded from Brooklyn was granted. So his new teammate, his new head coach, Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers, respectively, they talked earlier today about James Harden and what it's going to take to build this chemistry. Listen.
Chemistry is always great before you play your first game. It's never a problem, but it's been good. I mean, I don't think chemistry is going to be an issue as far as getting along. Chemistry on the floor, we'll have to see how that all works out. I'm not that concerned by it, but there's 2 types of chemistry, and the one on the floor is going to be the one that matters the most.
You see all the stories that are out there and all that stuff, and obviously, we all see it. I mean, it's completely different than, what you see out there. He's a great person, great personality, always smiling, fun to be around. Everything really, his presence on the team and on the floor, has really changed a lot since he got here. So I'm just excited for that to continue on the court, and I think he's going to help us a lot.
That is certainly the hope as we bring in our NBA writer, Tim Bontemps, live from Minneapolis. All right, Tim, the Sixers team, they got to acclimate themselves to one of the league's biggest, most ball-dominant stars over their final 24 regular season games. So this has to happen quickly, as we heard Doc talk about the chemistry. What are they saying, Doc and his teammates, about Harden and trying to adjust to each other so quickly?
Well, as you said, Sage, this is a 24-game sprint to the finish, as Doc Rivers put it this morning. And obviously the Sixers have a lot of work to do if they want to get this team up to being a championship-caliber group going into the postseason, especially what's going to be a brutal Eastern Conference playoffs. But, look, you've got to remember, the Philadelphia 76ers have been sitting in this situation waiting for clarity on what was going to happen with Ben Simmons since last summer, let alone the start of the season. So really, this sort of feels like Christmas morning for the Sixers. They wake up and they get to unwrap their present, and their present is, as you said, one of the best and most ball-dominant players in the NBA in James Harden. And obviously it's going to take a lot of work to get him and Joel Embiid on the same page. And while Joel couldn't help but make a little bit of a reference to the fact that James Harden is a better shooter than Ben Simmons, saying we're not talking about a guy that's limited offensively, he did say that he expects this partnership to be smooth and that these guys are going to be able to fit together on the court and that they're both aligned in their goal, which is to get this team back to the NBA Finals. So really more than anything else, the Sixers are excited to finally see what these 2 guys are going to look like together on the floor here tonight in Minneapolis.
They remind me of the Bucks a little bit, just quietly sitting there in the 3rd spot in the East, getting it done while everybody talks about the drama everywhere else. So we'll see what happens beginning tonight. By the way, you've got a really good piece right now on the pressure points to watch in Harden's debut and Philly's playoff push. That's on ESPN.com. Look forward to the game tonight, Tim. Thank you. By the way, the numbers with Harden, if you didn't know this, it has not been one of his best seasons. He's on pace for his fewest points per game average in over a decade and his lowest field goal percentage since his rookie season. That's how bad it was in Brooklyn. That's why he wanted out, although, hey, you got to look in the mirror sometimes too, right? His 3-point percentage also would be the worst of his career. So now, what's at stake for James Harden as he starts over again in Philadelphia? Here's Stephen A. and First Take.
In Philadelphia, James Harden had better damn well help this team get to an NBA Finals, or he will forever be scarred. To now go to Philadelphia after forcing your way out of Houston, then Brooklyn, and to have Joel Embiid as your teammate, there is no question that, and considering what Daryl Morey gave up to get you, there is no question we take all of that into consideration, along with the overall greatness that we know James Harden to have, particularly with him being in Brooklyn last year and reverting to a true point guard where he's dancing on folks and creating shots for other people and averaging damn near triple-double and being a top 2 candidate for league MVP honors before he messed up his hamstring later on in the regular season last year. All of those things taken into consideration. For you to be there with Joel Embiid and nothing less than an appearance in the NBA Finals will do.
James Harden could go out there and play his behind off. James Harden could go out there and average 30 points, 15 assists, 8 rebounds, and I mean have a spectacular playoffs. But Tyrese Maxey might not show up. Danny Green might not be able to hit a shot. We can't blame that on James Harden. I think if he goes to just be the best version of James Harden, that's all we can ask. Like, you can't be held accountable for what other guys on your team do. Now, if he goes there and he stinks it up, then that's another story. But because this is a team sport, it's hard for me to just put that on him. And when we talk about his legacy and what he's already accomplished individually, because in your eyes, if it had to come down to it, Robert Horry would probably be the best player in the world.
Robert Horry.
Yeah, Robert.
Big shot, Bob.
7, right?
Yeah. Okay, how about this? Silver lining for some of the Harden struggles we've talked about. He likes debuts. He recorded at least 30 points and 12 assists in his debuts with both the Rockets and the Nets. 10 years apart, but hey. Only 2 other players in history have had 30 and 10 in their debuts with the team, and Harden is the only one with 30 and 12. Let's see what happens tonight in Minnesota.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.